You know what didn't happen last night? Civic didn't put itself together. It's still sitting here with no turbo on it. So today our goal is literally just get as much done as possible. So if you guys didn't watch yesterday's video, we basically just, you know, took everything out of here. I took out the air box. It was like huge and bulky and really unnecessarily like that. All of this is air components. And then basically I just sprayed penetrating fluid on all the nuts and bolts and everything that has to come off today and just let it soak all night. And my game plan was just make it as easy for us today as possible. So I don't know how many issues we're gonna run into today. I'm assuming a lot because, well, if you guys know this Civic, you know that all it is issues and issues. However, we're gonna try and make the best of it. We're gonna try and get as much done with this turbo as we can. I looked into it last night and I don't think we're actually missing very many parts out of the box. It doesn't have a couple lines, but for some reason the kit said it didn't include them on the website. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about, but we don't really know what we're doing, so I'm just referring to it as building Lego. You just put one piece and then build off of that, and then eventually we should be able to complete the whole kit. Like, I understand all the common knowledge of a turbo, and so does Emerson, but we've never done it. So there's like some pieces we look at in the box and we're like, what the hell is this? Like, where does this go? But I'm sure we'll figure it out. For all these people that are like, yo, this kid has no idea what he's doing, because I see these comments, okay? You guys are like, oh, you got no idea what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing that. Did you have any idea what you were doing when you learned to drive? No. So did someone tell you you shouldn't be doing that? No, you learned. And me and Emerson have no idea what we're doing a lot of the time, but at the end of it, by the end of the video, we have a better idea. And there's only one way to learn, and that's to do it. So for all you guys that are like, oh, you guys don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it, you're probably never gonna learn things because you have the wrong attitude. That's my 2 cents for today. Let's jack this thing up. Okay, now I can just deal with this O2 sensor later. I pulled off the header and everything, but I was waiting to get this pipe off till Emerson showed up because my jack is like on a piece of wood and maxed out, but it's not high enough for us to put jack stands underneath the sides. So I don't want to lay underneath there and try and do all these rusty bolts and stuff because I don't want the car to fall on my head. And Emerson just finally showed up and he's got the jack, so we're just gonna jack it up a little bit higher, then we can get underneath, take off the rest of the exhaust, and then we can pretty much get right to putting the turbo on. Ow! That's like the 3rd time I've cut myself today. Got it. I'm gonna go ahead and try and put the manifold on, and we're basically like, I don't know if there's a perfect way to do this, if you should, you know, mount your intercooler, whatever it is first, but we're gonna start right here because to us this makes sense. See where everything needs to go, sizing everything up and seeing where it all needs to go, because we have no instruction manual, we have nothing with this kit, so we literally have no idea what we're doing. How the hell are you supposed to get this in here? It doesn't even fit.
There's no threads on here.
That's what happens when you buy eBay turbo.
You gotta take apart these, turn a bit, put that back on.
Just take the hot side right off?
Yep.
Bring it up. Oh, there we go. We had to take this thing, like spin it, just so we get the oil fitting on, because the mount for the actual intake was like way too close. This is not leaking on my watch.
Maybe we should just leave it loose.
And see how it fits when it's in the car?
Yep, and then we can just probably rotate it.
Just snug it up so it doesn't rotate a bunch, and then like let it swivel a little bit when it's in the car, and then we'll just figure it out. Did it come with bolts to bolt it to this, or no? Because I don't actually remember seeing any bolts for this. So whether they didn't send us them or they fell out like while they were being shipped or whatever, we're missing bolts to bolt the actual exhaust to here, and we're missing bolts to bolt the turbo to the manifold. So we're gonna go right now and pick up, and we're also missing bolts to bolt the oil drain on here. So I don't know if like they had a bag full of bolts and it all just fell out or what, but we're gonna run to Lordco real quick and just pick up bolts for everything that we can think of right now. That way we can come back and try and do as much of this as possible. We had to bring the turbo and everything in here to get the right size bolts so we could put them in and make sure they all work. So we just literally just brought the turbo in, and all the guys at Lordco loved it. But we should be good. We're gonna need to come back when we need to get the oil lines and other stuff that we'll probably find. But for now, like the first chunk, like today's section of the install, we should be all right now. So the only bolts that we did get were the bolts here for the oil thing. So we're gonna take these off, and then we just bought replacement ones so that all the bolts are the same. So we got 2 bolts for here, we got 2 bolts for this one, bolts to mount it to the actual manifold, and then we got a bunch of bolts to bolt it to the downpipe here. And I think that's all the bolts we need for now. So we're just gonna bolt this to the manifold, toss the manifold on. No, it's bottomed out. Too big.
Really?
Okay, you ready? This is a little baby Turbo's first seat in the Civic. Okay, what's hitting? Turbo needs to be spun. Can you reach in there and spin it?
Take it. Okay, go.
So now we need to test fit this pipe. It's either gonna fit this way or everything is pooched. Okay, well that's not gonna work at all because this is facing straight down. Like, come look under here. This is not even facing near the exhaust. Even without a gasket, if it's mounted perfectly flat, that's the way it sits. And then we need to take off this bracket, it looks like.
Who designed this?
Nobody designed it, that's the problem. It needs a designer. And it doesn't have one.
Like, how are you even supposed to bolt this part on?
So we had to take the turbo back off and make a couple little adjustments to get it to like point in the right direction. But I think now we've got this angled the right way. We've got this just loosely bolted up. I'm thinking if we bolt the downpipe to the actual cat first, we should be okay. That's just my current thoughts. But before we put that on, we want to do the intercooler and the piping and stuff. That way we don't have to have like, try and get the intercooler in there with this huge ass pipe already in there. So we're gonna do the intercooler right now.
I feel like it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
It's gonna be a huge pain in the ass, but we're gonna do it. That's what we're doing. The only other thing that I have an issue with is like, to get a little filter on this guy, we're definitely gonna have to get just like a huge, not huge, but like a very immediate 90 degree and put a little filter right here.
Or just don't put a filter.
Just don't put a filter?
I've seen people run without a filter.
It's a horrible idea. One rock comes up, dead.
It's all good.
That's bad, it's all bad. We need to get a filter for here too. But for now, we'll just leave a cap. Oh my God, take it quick. Oh, the gloves are slipping. What we should do is put the piping that we know where it goes. Like, we should take the intake piping and bolt that up, because at least we know where that goes, and then we can build the puzzle of the rest of this afterward. You guys are just gonna watch and learn. Should we run a screamer pipe?
I think we should.
So we've got most of the piping figured out. We just kind of jigsawed it together and made it work. So this does not look like any of the photos. Okay, maybe this is how it is when you get eBay turbos, but it seems as if we got like a box of pieces from stuff people had returned, or like they didn't, like, I don't know, but none of this goes together. We ordered a specific kit, and when you look at the photos of the specific kit online, this does not look anything like it. It goes through this hole, the blow-off valves on this side, like, there's no way to make this pipe look the same. This is a completely different pipe.
But it works.
But it works. Like, no, there's no complaints. We're gonna make it work. But it's just like, even when I'm trying to get instructions by going on there and looking at like the kit photos, I can't. This is where we're at now. That pipe's on the ground just because we didn't put any clamps on it yet, but we figured out all the connections to the intercooler, and now we want to try and figure out how we're mounting the intercooler, and then once it's mounted, we're gonna tighten everything up, bolt everything up, then move on to trying to connect oil lines to the turbos and like the little nitpicky stuff. This is what it came with for mounts, and then the intercooler. And that's what we have to work with, so we're gonna work with it, I guess. We need to put it like right here, but I don't know how you wanna basically get center.
There's a Sharpie in my top drawer.
Oh, it's a these on? I'll do it for you. So we can drill a hole up in there and then reach around to the back with a ratchet and like tighten everything down. So, blowing my eardrums. Why are you making such noises? Hey buddy. Hi. Why are they even here?
The cat's fucking just wait.
There you go. Someone hold the intercooler. Someone put these screws in through here. Here, look, this one's through. Now line it up. Just hold it still for 1 second. God damn the intercooler.
In the intercooler.
No, you're screwing nothing. You're just screwing my finger. You're screwing my
finger. I'm trying to see. The tongue out there. I do that too.
Ah! I went to bend down and almost broke my arm off.
Ooh. Give it. Yes. Yeah, I'm
just gonna throw it outside, like the side of the house where it is, and then just run wires.
Just grab that for
Me and Emerson had to run back out to Lordco to get a couple things, and then Brad did some stuff. I'm not sure where you guys are at, so I'm just gonna update you guys on what's going on. So we had to run back out to Lordco because this is the bung that's gonna go in the oil pan, but it didn't come with a hose. So we went and picked up a hose for this so that we can obviously feed the oil return. Emerson right now is doing an oil, like he's taking all the oil out so he can pull the oil pan so we can put the bung in the oil pan. We got a drill bit, that's the right size for that. We picked up some line for the wastegate because we had line for the blow-off valve, but we didn't have line for the wastegate. Obviously we got oil because we need to do an oil change now that we're emptying it to get into the oil pan. And then you can see right there that we just put the 2 screws in through the top on both sides. And then underneath those flat brackets that I showed you earlier, we just kind of like bent them a little bit and made them work. We put them into like, I hope I got that. I really hope I got that. I'm putting that in the video. We just like bent these into like little Z-shaped brackets and then mounted them up underneath. So the intercooler now is like rock hard. Brad went around and put on a bunch of hose clamps and tightened everything up. We're gonna drop the oil pan, do the bung and the line and all that. And then I have no idea what we're doing next. We're gonna- It's gonna run. Emerson thinks it's gonna run today. I don't know if it's gonna run today. I don't bend that way. What do you mean right here? Where?
No, give me your hand.
Ow! It doesn't go that way. I can't reach there.
Where your thumb is.
How the fuck did you get your arm in here? No wonder. Why would you even try?
It was working when I took it off.
Because your arms are literally crayons. There's no way. Sandwich plate coming up.
Give me that adapter.
Adapters coming up. That's adapter 1.
No.
So it's adapter 2.
No.
Can't say nope, dude. we only have 2 options. That looks like it's right.
I know, but it doesn't want to go unless it's not big enough.
Okay, so our issue right now is we're trying to find a new way to get oil to the turbo because this is a sandwich plate. And for those of you that don't know what a sandwich plate is, you put your oil filter, you thread your oil filter onto a thread like this. And basically what this does is this threads onto the existing one. So pretend this is where your oil filter goes. This goes through the sandwich plate, screws on here, and then you put your oil filter on there. So this is like a spacer for your oil filter. And then you attach your oil lines and the oil will, you can take oil and whatever, fresh right at the filter for your turbo. But both these fittings that CX Racing sent us don't fit, of course. We're not gonna be able to use a sandwich plate, so Emerson is watching YouTube videos trying to figure out what we can do, what other people have done. We can't figure out a new way to do this. I'm gonna just try and go buy some of these tomorrow. We're just gonna keep going for today and just do the oil pan bung. 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 Emerson, the genius, is taking off the oil pan. And this is something that I honestly should have been doing my whole life. The oil pan has different size bolts throughout it. So he drew the oil pan.
Well, not different size, it's just some of them, like, the one was a 12 and the other one's a 14, and some are 10, and then it's like a 10 mil nut. So
yeah, exactly. They're different sizes. So he's just putting them where they go as he takes them off. That way when he puts them on, he knows exactly where everything is. This is a good idea. But dude, don't pry this. Pry the whole pan down. I don't know what that is, but you're not prying the right thing because the whole pan just moved. Yeah. There you go. 1 second. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Oh, shit. Can you take that side? I'm too far away from that side. This will just pop. Just give me a second. There. Okay, we're good.
Okay, watch out. There's gonna be the oil pump in here. I don't want to break that.
There we go. It was just on the nut, I think. I'm just gonna drain whatever oil's left into the little bucket quickly, and then basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the bung right here, Emerson said. So we're putting it at the highest point, and we're putting it on like the front so that it only has to go from the turbo right here. It's like a foot maybe to the little bung where it's gonna be. Oh, you got oil in your hair.
Do I really?
Boy, that shit's nasty. Hey. There you go. So the bung's in, we'll finish that up tomorrow. And then basically we have to take the manifold back off because we needed to make sure that we, as you guys saw earlier, like we loosened the turbo so it spins. And then we have it clocked right here, like this is exactly where we want it. So we're gonna tighten down 1 or 2 of the bolts to make sure that it stays in this position. Then we're gonna take it off, put it back on the table and like tighten the rest of them up. I'm so happy this fits. I was so scared that this was gonna not fit. And
do you see this? This is the electronic not overheating wire.
Dude, we don't have hella horns. How are people gonna know we're boosted? That's not going anywhere, unless it does, in which case
I don't wear them.
We're gonna have to pull over. But for now, I think it should be all right. Do you know what you're looking at right now, sir?
Not really.
Okay. So we got the wastegate on, we got the blow-off valve on, and then we ran a wire from the turbo up to the wastegate, and then we were trying to figure out which wire is best or I'm saying wire, but I mean hose. Which hose is best for the blow-off valve to run to, because there's like a bunch of them up here. And we couldn't really figure it out, and the internet's not very descriptive, and this stupid kit did not come with instructions. So we know that we got this one good. This is like zip tied to here, everything's good. Everything's kind of buttoning itself up, like everything's pretty close to being done. Tomorrow we gotta do the oil pan, we gotta do a few other things. But that's pretty much gonna be all we're gonna do for today. So we made some pretty good progress today. Like we went from nothing to everything that's here now. So we did pretty good progress. We still have to do like the finicky things tomorrow. Like we gotta put the oil pan back. We gotta run oil lines for the turbo. We gotta find out where that vacuum hose goes. We gotta do a bunch of like little things, but for today we're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the beginning of the turbo install tomorrow. We're hoping to get this thing running. Not necessarily running like on the street driving it around, but we wanna start it up. So tomorrow we wanna get it to the point where we can at least turn the key and have everything going. Then we gotta find out, do some ECU and tuning and stuff like that. And that'll probably be later in the week. I also gotta cut up the bumper and make it fit around this intercooler. Little steps, always little steps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited to see it hopefully start. Anyways, that's gonna be everything for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace out and stay committed.